morning. It's Monday, April 15th. And I want to tell you a story about something that happened to me on Friday. This is a story that deals with health. It's a story that deals with the actions of a corporation. It's a story that makes me wonder how large companies survive sometimes. So this is basically a story of a simple act. And yet it got out of control because corporations do things without thinking or without putting together all the facts or running down a certain procedure that they have decided is very important but it doesn't fit all occasions. And in this particular occasion, the procedure that they executed was totally wrong. So let me tell you what happens. I got a call last week about home health care. I have an Aetna Advantage Medicare plan. It is a great plan. I pay very little in terms of medical expenses. Some co-pays and some other things, but they're not major. And I pay nothing for prescription drugs. So I get a call on Thursday from a nurse practitioner, and she wants to come into the house to do a home health care visit and exam. Now, I've had them in the house before, for my wife primarily. I've never had a home health care visit for myself, because I deem it unnecessary. But in this particular case, I said, okay. And so the young lady said fine, that she would come on Friday around 1 o'clock. And I asked her for her phone number, and she gave me her phone number, which I really never would have asked for. But for some reason I did, and I asked, and I got it, and it turned out to be very important. Anyhow, Friday rolls around, and we're doing whatever we're doing. I get close to 1 o'clock, and I'm expecting a knock on the door or some situation. It's 1:30, she's not there yet. So I go and I call her on her cell phone, and I get a busy signal. And I try that several different times, and I get no answers. So finally, I call customer service. I call Aetna customer service, and I speak to a very nice young lady, and I tell her what's happening, and I ask her if I'm calling the right number and everything. She tells me she can't give me the phone number. It's against their regulations to give out these phone numbers, but she will call this person and find out what's happening. And she'll get back to me. And she does. She calls and she says she's getting a busy signal and she doesn't know what's happening. But give her about a half an hour and she'll get back to me again. And so time drags on. She gets back to me again. And no answer. They haven't found this nurse practitioner. They can't get in contact with her or anything. And I said, fine, forget, let me know when everything gets straightened out. I hope nothing happened to this woman, right, the nurse practitioner. And we'll get it straightened out and I'll reset the appointment. And I'm not making a big deal out of the whole thing. And so that was the beginning of this episode. And I put it to bed, and she didn't show on Friday. I didn't hear anything more. And then on Sunday, yesterday, I get an email from Aetna. It's a survey. Please fill out this survey. We want to hear about your experience with our phone service. So they send me this survey, and all they ask me about is the woman who called up, the operator who spoke to me to find out what was going on. No mention in this survey about the nurse practitioner who didn't show up, which was the crux of the matter. All they cared about was how the phone rep spoke to me, whether she took care of me. And she couldn't take care of me because she couldn't get hold of the nurse practitioner. So I got a survey that was meaningless, and it pissed me off. Because why am I wasting my time talking about somebody that did their job properly when that wasn't the crux of the matter? And that's the problem that I have with these corporations. They initiate a procedure of some kind, but they don't dig deeper. They're only concerned with the person that I spoke to on the telephone, not concerned with the person that didn't perform the task that she was responsible for. Nothing about the nurse. You would think that when these surveys go out somebody would have some scintilla of information about why I called before they're asking me how this person performed on the telephone. Because the crux of the matter is I have no problem with any of these people that call me in customer service. Most of them are great. But I do have a problem with the corporations that send out ridiculous surveys without gathering information before they send out the survey, without really attempting to figure out what was bothering me or if there was anything at all that was bothering me. So I filled out the survey, and then I wrote them a very nasty note at the end and told them that they should get off their ass and do some research before they send these surveys out. Because the answer to these surveys had nothing to do with the problem that I was requesting. And all of the questions on the survey were inane because they didn't deal with the problem. They didn't ask me why I called. They only asked how the person who took the phone call from me performed. And at the end, I explained to them why I called and what I thought of their ridiculous survey. And so there is a perfect example of why a lot of shit goes on that is not properly addressed. Because the people focus on the wrong thing. If somebody calls up the customer service unit for some kind of help, wouldn't you think you want to know why that person called, not how well their customer service rep performed? That's what I think. I think that I was the issue in this whole thing. I think they should have had a survey and said, could you tell us why you called? Why was it important enough for you to call? Why did you attempt to speak to this person 3 times? Why did she call you back 3 times? Nothing. They knew nothing about this phone call. So, it's a terrible story. I don't know what happened to this nurse. I guess I'll find out sometime when somebody calls back to reschedule this home health care. I think maybe the nurse needs some health care. So in any event, that's my story. Ineptitude at the corporate level. A sad situation. Take care. Bye.